Welcome in, McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. Glad you guys are with us. It is 7 a.m. Tuesday, October 21st. I'm sorry, the headphones are just not right, and the volume is low, and I'm apologizing for that early here this morning.
Stay hot.
No, it's probably going to be a rough day.
No.
We're behind.
No.
We're trying to catch up.
Hang on. I feel like, are we listening to last week's show?
What happened last week?
I had to get you out of the hole. It took me 9 minutes. I think I can do it in less this time.
Okay, go for it.
All right, you ready? How about this?
I'm trying to get guests on the show. I apologize.
I watched Tight Copy yesterday. Last night. Last night I was at an event. Terrific event. Enjoyed it very much.
What was the event?
It was called the Employee Assistance Fund. And Coach Saban was there. And I got to interview Coach Saban there for a little bit. Had a great conversation. It was great to see him. He is so happy now. Like, it really is just so happy right now. He was just absolutely just wearing me out, busting my chops the whole time. But now as I've gotten older, those things go both ways, and there's nothing that makes him happier than having people that bust chops. That's all he wants to do. One thing after another. Wore me out about how much I made his life miserable there for about 24 hours when we said that, hey, it wouldn't shock me if he decided to come back to coaching. And deep down, I think he knows. Deep down, I think he liked it. I don't think he'll ever admit that, but I think he did. I was like, Coach, just give me a little leverage. That's all it is, a little leverage. He's like, I don't want leverage. But it's great visiting with him. He's super happy, super content, and hopefully enjoying retirement as much as he deserves. But I think I can get you out of the hole because I watched a lot of Tight Copy yesterday.
Of who?
Everybody.
Every
I wanted
team?
to spend, yes, I have repeat teams this week. I got Oklahoma. I have Ole Miss. I've had both teams. Don't need to do a deep dive on either one. So, you know what I did yesterday? I said, I am only watching Tight Copy, and I really want to watch offensive lines because the Joe Moore midseason watch list honor roll color guard got announced.
I hate that for you because I know that couldn't have been overly enjoyable based on where we are.
I'm going to be honest. I watched probably about a game. I picked out what I thought was the most competitive game for each of the teams on the honor roll.
Okay.
And I'm kind of amazed that few of these teams made the list.
Well, there were a couple that I would have been on board with you with, but there's no lone voice in it. So
I understand that. And I'm not necessarily always going to put you in charge of all the honor roll. It's not exclusively your list. I get that. So I'm blaming Golick.
It's definitely his fault.
100%. The ones that made sense, you. The ones that didn't, Golick. Allow me for a moment just to go through and ask your opinion on whether you endorse this team being in.
Yeah, just skip.
I know you like the academies. I buzzed them for 2 seconds, but frankly, I spent the least amount of time on them. Fair?
What Air Force game did you watch?
The one last week. I don't even remember who it was.
I love their right guard.
You always loved it, Air Force. You would have a baby with Air Force's offensive line every year. They're your favorite team.
Maybe adopt, but yeah.
You adopt together?
Yep. We'll figure it out.
I feel like if I could drop little old 18-year-old Cube Dog into recruiting again, Air Force would be on your short list.
They're fun to watch. All the academies are fun to watch because they're not just triple option anymore.
No.
They have some of those principles that make them, that's what sets them apart from everybody else. Is
Cool
they
offense.
can still get legitimate movement, and a lot of other people cannot.
Well, fair. It also, you have to take into account that I'm not the biggest Wyoming fan. Wyoming is kind of stout. Like, that's kind of what they are. So they were fine. Air Force is fine. Alabama. I actually think that they're maybe a little better in watching a game or two. Just Tight Copy, not the big picture. I think they might be a little better than I had thought going in.
Yeah, that's going to depend on the game.
Correct. In which I watched all of the snaps this year, but for the purpose of this situation, I did Georgia. So I think Georgia's the best defensive front that they've faced as it pertains to like stopping the run, and they're tough to move.
Okay.
How do you feel about them?
Endorse? With Alabama, I would probably top to bottom endorse them. Depending on the game, you could completely sway your judgment on that group. You could really like them, or you could look at them and say, how in the world are they here?
Correct.
Both.
But
I think that it's one of the things that I think as a committee we've had to try to do is understand that from start to finish, these groups are not just going to be great. There's not a group that's just we look at Miami Friday night.
Yeah, but I think it's styles, not fights. Styles of fighters.
Yep.
And that's Miami last night. That's Bama, Tennessee. That's a few situations where there's some styles. All right, so I watched not a full game of all, but I watched at least 30 snaps of every single team on the under list. So far, my favorites. Are you prepared?
I'm prepared.
Ohio State.
Love Ohio State.
In no particular order, by the way.
My favorite group in the country right now.
Okay, Ohio State.
And did not have a good game this last week. Didn't look the same this past week.
Fair enough. Wisconsin's pretty good up front, but Ohio State, Vanderbilt.
I like Vanderbilt. I think Vanderbilt's a little sloppier than people think, but they're sides. A good group. I'm still trying to make sense of that, by the way.
I think I have a good feel on it. Stanford Steve texted me about this last night.
Oh, trust me, we talked on my entire ride home from the airport at 10:30.
All right. But
I talked to Tim Beck about it before the South Carolina game. It's not strong, weak. It's not quick, tight. It's advantageous in how they use it. And it's not what Jesse Palmer said on the broadcast where the best pass protector on pass plays goes to left tackle. I can't believe someone would ever believe that. Like, why you would verbalize that in public, I'm not – he's a quarterback, so I forgive him.
Oh, stop.
But, guys, that's not a real thing. Nobody's going to put their best pass protector on the left side and say, drop back. Like, come on. But it is an advantageous move for them, I think. If they know they want to run counter to the right, their best pullers are going to go left.
Correct.
If they know they're going to run inside zone to the right and their best run blocking grinders are, they want them to the right side. So,
yes.
And I think that's situational. I don't think they have to have it for that every time.
No.
But when it's a must-have-it moment, maybe, your best pass protector goes to the left.
No, your quick side is the technically. Honestly, you want it should be strong side, weak side. But
that's how we did it when I first got to Auburn. But I don't even think they do that.
Well, they don't want to do that because it's bad in recruiting. Hey, you'd be a great weak side tackle.
But they've made it an advantage in recruiting because they're telling guys you're going to play both, which is it helps you.
Yes, it helps you as far as your NFL projections being able to swing. All right, top two. Those are not my top two, but those are two that impressed me the most.
Okay.
All right, number 3, Miami. If you look holistically at the whole season, they'd be in the mix
really good
as well.
Just let it go.
All right, number 4, Indiana.
I love Indiana's group.
I do too. Gosh, I love them.
They work together really well.
I love them. I freaking love them. They rock. Everything about Indiana rocks. All right, then number 5. This one might be surprising to you.
Oh, you're ranking them now.
I'm not ranking them. I thought there were 5 that separate. I thought there were 5 that I think are a cut above.
No, you're going to say USC.
No, I'm not.
Knowing you are.
No, I'm not.
Southern Cal. Didn't say USC.
Who are you going to like best next? It wouldn't surprise me if you said Iowa. No. I would be surprised if you said Cincinnati.
Ah, woohoo!
Yeah.
There he is. There he is. He's back.
They're solid. They're a solid group. It's not one of my favorite groups, but
he's back.
They're solid.
They're good, dude. For what they are. How many of those guys that you watch on Cincinnati's offensive line go to the NFL?
How do you view them that way, but not other groups that way for what they are?
Because how many of their guys are going to the NFL?
They've played against some bad fronts, I'll say that.
I don't care what they played against. All I know is that they took the fight to them.
They deserve to be on the list. Don't
100%. I'm not going to sit. I actually really liked them, and I had not studied them that way. I've studied more their offense. I think their offense is awesome. I've always loved Scott Satterfield's offense. I've always have. It's not that dissimilar to Eli Drinkwitz. It's just a good offense. It's a cool offense. They know how to run the ball. They know who they are. They play super horizontal. I think Cincinnati's got some dog in them. I kind of like them.
No, they do.
I think they're a good group. And honestly, I also kind of like Duke, if you want me to be honest. But last week was unwatchable. It was a tough watch.
That was probably my biggest. I'm not sure.
What, Duke?
Mm-hmm.
There's so many good moments on
I like
there.
the center and one of their tackles.
The right
really
tackle's good.
But it's been really up and down.
Very. But I like Cincinnati's group a lot. And you have to take into account, to me, like, all right, who am I taking personnel-wise? Utah or Cincinnati?
Of course, Utah.
Of course. But, like, I think Cincinnati's group plays better together. Like, there's something kind of refreshing about seeing a group that maybe doesn't have a ridiculous amount of talent.
That's why Army won it last year.
That just plays well together.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, and I thought you'd love Cincinnati. I really
like
did.
them. I think it's been inconsistent, but they're a fun group to watch. And like you said, you're not going to get as much of the blunt force trauma as you are with Vanderbilt or Ohio State. The scary part for me is if you look just at this last weekend, we can't look at it one weekend at a time like that. Miami, Alabama, Michigan the last 2 weeks, Utah maybe the last couple weeks has not been the same, going downhill a little bit. Tennessee going downhill just a little bit. Notre Dame, a lot of that due to injuries. Like Missouri, the last 2 weeks has not been great. A lot of these teams are not going the right direction. And you're supposed to be going the other direction at this point in the season. Injuries are a big part of it.
And that's why.
Continuity is supposed to be coming together. Guys are supposed to have a better understanding. I will say this again. I've said it in reference to just one aspect of blocking, but I think the coordinators are getting better. The defensive coordinators are figuring some of this stuff out. Like offensive coordinators have been able to circumvent things for a long time.
Yeah.
And the D coordinators have it figured out now.
Well, you know
There's
what
a reason that Oklahoma runs all the run stunts that they do.
Yeah.
Because they know if they can pick one of your guys, that loop man is going to be standing there where the running back's supposed to be running through. And he's probably not going to beat a D tackle one-on-one.
Well, defensive coordinators are more willing to fire their gun.
That's fair, too.
Like, honestly, like, how often are you seeing...
Think about what they have to lose compared to what an offensive coordinator has to lose.
They don't care. Like, if you watch SC, for example, against Notre Dame, everyone's going to come out of that game saying, oh, my gosh, Notre Dame, 300-plus rushing yards. You watch the game, dude, SC's safeties are flying down completely out of control. Linebackers completely out of control. They're looping, stunting. They either tackle you for a 2-yard loss, they give a 40-yard gain. Like, and guess what? I don't think Lincoln cares. He goes, all right, we're going to have to outscore them anyways. Let's go, boys. I think Tennessee's similar. Yep. They guessed right a lot last week, which is good, but they roll the dice. And one more thing that's complicating offensive line play right now, this walk-up stuff on third downs.
Oh, they can't handle it.
Nobody can.
You can if you properly teach how to sort it, but they're not going to do that.
It's too hard. Like, I'm telling you, it's too hard. You have one of about 4 options when they do that walk-up third down blitz, and yes, everybody's doing it. It's like the flavor of the week defense this year in college football. It's like the RPO 10 years ago. It's like, oh, everybody needs an RPO. Well, now they're basically taking 7 guys, they're showing all-out blitz, and they're walking them up, and then all of a sudden at the snap, 2 are coming, 2 are dropping out, and you don't know which 2 they are.
So you know who I bet can handle it? Mike Leach.
You know who can handle it? You know what can handle it? Seriously? This is going to make you sick?
No, it's not. Inside zone.
No. Well, yeah, inside zone can, but not if you have bad numbers. You want to know what can handle it?
I'd love to run inside zone at a linebacker who is retreating.
Slide protection. Seriously.
Well, but there's an asterisk next to that, and I know what the asterisk is, and I was actually going to start with that is if you got 7 walks up on the line of scrimmage, somebody's open. Throw them the ball.
True, but if you do in-breaking routes, so what happened? Oklahoma, Auburn last year. 7 walk-up, pop-out.
Because maybe more than 7.
Okay, 7 walk-up, pop-out. What happened?
You threw it to the linebacker.
Yes, because you can't throw in-breaking routes because you don't know where they're popping out from. You have to go out breaking routes. So that's what I do. I would motion the tight end in. I can either get a chip. I can help my right tackle. I can help my left tackle depending on what hash I'm on. No problem. I'd lock him up and block him up, and I'm running a guy right through the middle of the field. And I bet you anything that guy that's faking the blitz cannot get back in time for him to cover or stay on top of Ryan Williams. I would live in 3x1. I'd go to quads on 4th down. I would go to quads on 4th down as often as I could. Why? Because I would put a triple bunch right to the right-hand side of the, let's say I'm on the left hash, triple bunch right, single receiver out right, single receiver out left. I'm putting a I'm putting a running back out far right. So I know it's man zone immediately. So I'm going to know him, and I'm going empty protection. Guess what? Empty, I think, spreads them out enough to where you can't do the 7 walk up. Empty, chip protection, tight end on the inside of the bunch. The point man on the bunch is running right at the middle of the goalpost. Good luck getting out underneath that linebacker that's trying to bluff. Come on. Let's go.
There are answers to it. And I think a lot of the problem also is you have coaches who are trying to answer those questions as the play clock's running down, as opposed to start for, and then it turns off, and then the player has to try to figure it out from there on his own, or then begin to look over and get signals to figure it out. Then you're in a hurry and you're not going to have enough time to figure it out, instead of just, if that entire process starts with one person attempting to figure it out on his own.
Yes.
From 22 seconds down, then you would actually be able to sort it and get it figured out. I think they're discombobulating themselves in a lot of instances, but these coaches are not going to give up the communication aspect of that because they think they can solve all the problems. And a lot of these guys don't necessarily have the problems at their disposal. If they do, they don't know how to use them very well because they're being told how to use them a lot of the times. So it can be an answer and it can work, but it's like I told you, I had the conversation with Freeze in his office. You're going to go quick protection, you need quick routes. And a lot of these guys aren't throwing quick routes with quick protection. And that's the only way it's going to work. But you're right. A lot of these, I mean, if you go look at what DJ Durkin did to Missouri, and I said this late in the game. I tried to pop in and say it before the snap. He is trying to force slide protection one direction or the other. So he's got a linebacker walked up on the center, and he has 2 lined up outside both tackles. Well, you're immediately both sides are going to be begging for the center to slide it their way because they're terrified right now.
Yep.
And what it does, one, it forces you to ignore the nearest threats, which is the guys lined up over your centers and guards. Who's getting the quarterback first? A guy 3 feet outside the tackle or a guy in the B gap or A gap? Y'all don't even answer that. You know. But he wants you to vacate the middle of your protection. And then he's going to occupy somebody on both sides. So he's going to occupy the center or both guards. And he knows by occupying that individual, whichever direction you slide it, now we have space. And that's where the loop man will come in, and you're just giving him a free run at the quarterback. It's not hard, guys. It's not. And what we need to start doing, Greg, is we're going to have to do some sort of pinch protection.
Well, we used to have it when we were in Cincinnati. We came up back in that time. It was all about double A gaps where the 2 linebackers would walk up into double A's. It was like the defense du jour in the NFL. Everybody was doing it. It started in Cincinnati. They used it in Minnesota. It was Zimmer. It was like the hot defense. It went from Rex Ryan's overload from the field blitzes to where they'd bring literally like 5 strong on the center and have 1 backside. Yep. And then it became double A's. Double A's was the hot thing. And we had to actually put in a new protection adjustment called Abby, which is double A, Abby.
Got it.
Backs in the A gap, Abby, AB. All right. So whatever. So we put the back, and the back would literally, we would say, all right, Abby right, meaning center. And it was all dependent on like field hash and or overhang outside the tackle on one side or the other. So if there's overhang right, all right, Abby right. So the left guard would actually widen out his split just a little bit. The back would essentially become the left guard off the ball. The center would slide to the field, and you knew that you were hot off one outside the left tackle. It simplified the protection adjustments, and it was a phenomenal fix. I think we have to get to that point now. The problem is these walk-ups are not exclusively on either side of the center. Sometimes they're outside the right tackle. What I would do is I would incorporate some type of Abby adjustment, but I would have that back insert at some point right behind so if the linebacker that's the heaviest blitz tendency is lined up, for example, let's just do Georgia. 9, Chris Cole, I'm putting my line on him. My line is always responsible for 9. The other 2 backers, I'm going to sit there and I'm going to line my running back up basically along the offensive line, maybe a half yard off the offensive line, widen the split for the actual offensive lineman. So let's just say the linebacker's coming in between the right tackle and the right guard. Guess what? My right tackle now essentially becomes a tight end. My right guard stays put, and my running back becomes essentially my right tackle. Does that make sense?
That's the way it's supposed to be done.
Well, but it requires your back is now no longer a factor in the protection. And hey, guess what?
We have some of these teams that are splitting it and letting the backside tackle stay, and they're putting the back in the B gap. And I want to say it was Texas A&M, or this happened to Auburn, I think, this weekend. All of a sudden, you get a running back on a 3 technique. And it's like, God, how is that advantageous? You're expecting a 210-pound running back to step up towards a 315-pound D tackle and not only stymie him for an immediate throw, which probably isn't happening, but stay engaged for 3 or 4 seconds?
Yeah.
For your indecisive quarterback to make a decision and throw the ball, it's just not real. It isn't. You got to. He would have to go low on him, and then if the ball doesn't come out immediately,
you're not even allowed to go low hardly anymore.
Well, right there
as long
you
as
can.
It's straight ahead you
right
can, but it's not easy.
But even go to the Oklahoma game, wasn't even a D tackle. Linebacker coming right up the middle. Great job getting him down. Running back cuts him. Quarterback, wait. Sack. By that guy who was cut, and the job was mission accomplished and still couldn't get him. We could sit here and come up with answers all day. You have to get all your guys on the same page to be able to know what it is and know how it operates. But I'll just go back to the robotic nature of it, and that's what you got to get away from. You got to get guys playing football again, and they're not allowing them to. They're giving them one thing to do, Greg. That's the problem. They're saying, you do this on this play, and I'm not talking about an assignment.
Yes.
As far as the individual, it's you go to this gap and you stay right there. And the coaching past that is not taking place. 1, they don't have the time. 2, the wherewithal to be able to do it and handle it when that particular aspect changes cannot be understood. And I think that starts at a much younger age, and that's a conversation probably for a different day. A different conversation we're going to have after this with Bud Elliott on not only all of college football, but some of the coaches' changes happening. He knows Florida State better than anybody. What does he think the realistic options are there if it's not Mike Norvell? Will they make that move? We'll talk to him next right here on Jocks. Welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning as we just ran off half of our listeners with the offensive line discussion in the first segment of the show. My wife actually just texted me. This is not a joke. I can show you the screenshot here. This was at 7:19. We need to get this sofa moved out of our living room. Do you have a personal connection to Crocker Moving Services? So I just sent her Eric Crocker's number.
Yeah.
They can come to the house and handle that. She
Company.
wants it moved today.
Yeah, they're a local company owned by an Iraq War veteran, Eric Crocker. Crocker believes in hiring movers you can trust to complete full background checks and run drug tests on every single employee. These are good guys. You can trust them in your home. Manage your whole home, pack to move your company headquarters, which across country, or you just want them to come rearrange your living room. These guys got you covered. They also deliveries for furniture that you purchase need to get to your home. So call or visit them online today for a free quote. The website's crockermovingservices.com. That's crockermovingservices.com. Support your veterans by choosing Crocker Moving Services for your next move. How much are you paying? I'll get over there.
Probably whatever Crocker Moving Services requires to have this moved, which won't be much.
Yeah, I'm in.
You going to do it by yourself?
Bear, what do you do at 10?
Actually, Damien and I are meeting with Haney, so y'all are on your own.
Ugh.
Yeah, I trust Crocker. Bud Elliott is fortunate that we need to move off of the offensive line discussion, so we'll go a different direction with him as he joins us on the Higginbotham Hotline. I want to talk general college football with you, Bud, but first, everyone knows your background with Florida State, Tomahawk Nation. You know the inner workings of that program better than anyone. Where are they from an administrative standpoint with being able to potentially make a move on Mike Norvell? I do want to hear from you if you think they do or not, but the realistic aspect of can they, if they actually wanted to, at some point the rest of this season?
Yeah. So, I mean, we can – I'm glad to talk fly protection if you want. I mean, I think it's an epidemic, right?
It is still our nation's epidemic, yes, and it's getting worse, unfortunately. But
Don't get them going. I already wore them out in the first segment. Let's get them out of the hole.
All right. So, yeah, if they wanted to fire Norvell today, I think they could. I think they're really trying to get all their ducks in a row to make sure that what they have to sell to the next guy is, as attractive of a package as it can be. So Norvell's buyout is payable through 2031. So you can do it in, equal installments, right? So it's basically like less than $1 million a month, which is still obviously a lot of money. If you're going to do that though, you do want to have like 18 months, maybe 2 years pledged. And you also have to pay like the additional 1 year on Malzahn's buyout, Tony White's buyout, et cetera. You just got to just keep buying everybody out, which also, if you're one of the big boosters or you're on the board of trustees, you might say, wait a second, like why are we not also taking a look at the athletic director here potentially? So when Michael Alford put that statement out, it did make me think, I'm kind of wondering if this might be a kind of just a all-inclusive look here into the program. I said on Nolecast, like, look, I would be surprised but not shocked if he coached another game. I would be shocked if he was back next year, pretty much regardless of what happens for the rest of the season. It's pretty clear the team has checked out and the message is no longer getting through.
Well, that's what was the biggest thing that I was curious about. It was not so much about Norvell. I think it's unlikely that he'll return, but it's financially, can they afford it? Number one. Number two, whoever gave him this deal, because of some of the inside knowledge of the situation, by my estimate, it was always DeBoer from the get-go. And Jimmy Sexton played this like an absolute fiddle. It was a gem of a performance by Jimmy Sexton two Januaries ago. And it led to Mike Norvell getting paid a ridiculous amount of money for only one really high-quality season of work. So who's going to be responsible beyond Mike Norvell for where the program's at?
Yeah, I mean, Greg, I think it's a great point. Obviously, Michael Alford, like the AD doesn't give the deal unilaterally, right? The president has to sign off on a deal of that size, the board, et cetera. But ultimately, that does kind of fall into the purview of the athletics director. So, I mean, he had won 10, and then he went, 13-0, and they got snubbed for the playoff when Jordan Travis got hurt. Within the context of where the sport was at the time, that's not that unreasonable of a deal. I think now as we really transform into more of a player-based sport, I don't see the prudence of giving these 8 and 10-year deals anymore. Like, we don't do this in the NFL. We don't do this in Major League Baseball. Like, nobody's like, yeah, man, now that we got this coach, we're going to win a Super Bowl. Like, that's just not how it works, right? Like, so why I don't mind paying a high annual yearly rate, but I don't know why you need to, like, tether yourself for a decade. Like, we did this exercise yesterday on Cover 3. If you gave your coach a 10-year extension upon him winning his last national title, how many teams are truly happy with it? Like Auburn fired Chiswick, after a year or two, Les Miles, they were certainly not going to be cool keeping him around a decade after his last one. Orgeron, the same. I mean, Meyer had kind of worn out his welcome in 2 spots. It's so rare. You would think, like, after winning the Natty, yeah, man, like, next decade is going to be great. Honestly, it's not.
Don't you think Jimbo would have been run eventually also down there?
I mean, dude, in 2016, Jimbo was having these guys sign notes to play hard. I got a copy of it and ran it on Come On Nation. He was so pissed.
That's amazing.
Heck yeah, I'll sign that note.
Yeah, like, you can Google it, like, Florida State Promissory Notes 2016. Like, I've got a picture of it.
That's amazing. Like, is that like a
IOU for effort?
Yeah.
Basically,
is that like a promise ring in like high school?
People are like, let's bring Jimbo back. I'm like, guys, Jimbo hasn't really been a good coach in about a decade, so I don't know if that's really.
In all seriousness, like with Mike Norvell, I really actually believe, as crazy as this may sound, like I think the job remains remarkably attractive. Like he's shown the high side, but we've also now seen the low side and the possible challenges of building a team that is so heavily dependent on transfer portal guys. And I think just doing the due diligence, like I think they sold their soul a little bit a couple of years ago. They had a great culture in 2013. It got fractured because of what went down at the end of the year. And they're like, in an effort to try very hard to sustain, we're going to go and backfill with a bunch of guys that might be a little bit questionable from a value standpoint and frankly from a quality of play standpoint. So I think the job remains outrageously attractive. However, in a day and in a year like this is not the year I'd want to be in the coaching search market. So how does this season, for example, Bud, affect some of their prospects?
Yeah, I mean, I certainly think it does, somewhat. I don't know if Lane Kiffin's like really the guy you're going to want to go after. Everybody seems to think that's Florida's, top target. I think there's some guys who are really good coaches out there. I mean, I think I hired John Summerall in an instant. I think if you look at what he did at Troy, I mean, he's had to replace coordinators that he's lost to a high level. He was absolutely one of the best, if not the best coach on Mark Stoops' staff when he was there. The guy's a good recruiter. It's not like he's depended on one stud quarterback to get him where he is, which is oftentimes kind of a red flag there at the G5 level. I mean, there's a lot of guys out there, like if you're Drinkwitz, you had a really good thing going at Missouri, but also you were kind of first mover advantage with some of the NIL stuff now. And I think some other SEC teams are catching up to that. And one thing you can't do is change Missouri's location, So, can you level up Missouri past where they are now? I would be very skeptical of that. Maybe now is a good time for him to get out when they get in the good, I agree. It's still a very attractive job. You have the brand new football facility that they're literally moving into this week. So that's kind of a weird photo op for Norvell. The F in FSU still stands for Florida, which is something Norvell did not take advantage of as far as recruiting. Obviously, did not put the effort in to recruit high school like a Mario or a Billy did, as far as his contemporaries there in the state. But if you're a coach coming in, that's just something you probably should look into doing, in my opinion. I think it's still a really attractive job, but this is no doubt it's a tight job market this year.
The picture that they shared yesterday, was that like a walkthrough room that was turfed for 15 yards, 10 yards?
I think so. I don't even know if I saw it. I was on the phone.
Well, there's people that were saying you can't have an indoor facility that's 10 yards. I'm like, I think that's the walkthrough room.
They have an indoor
facility.
Oh, no, they have a normal size indoor.
Yeah.
Their facility is great now.
Yeah, I was.
Used to be terrible.
People don't know what they're talking about, and I was just like, I know what that is. But
the stadium is kind of a dump, though.
Just throw them under the bus there.
No, I'm being. You want me to say another one? That's not very good. Where you were this past weekend, it needs some updating. Have they fixed the?
Greg's done too many bowls at SoFi.
I've done one, and it was a good stadium. If we can all follow SoFi's lead on stadium quality, Bud, that's the direction. Have they fixed the suite levels on the near side where the booth is? The ones that had all those old pictures? All right, cool. So that's all updated now.
Yeah, it's totally redone. The loge boxes are really nice. They have all the luxury boxes now, between the two decks.
Yeah.
It's completely different.
In the end zone?
No, the end zone is the Champions Club.
The end zone's beautiful, but that's a couple years old.
Yeah, that's that's nice. The new stuff is certainly nicer.
Beautiful, because that's big. As far as like generating revenue for the university, having those really nice high-end boxes are massive. So like that to me, as far as a coaching search is concerned, that's on the short list for me, and recognizing, all right, how are we making money as an athletic department so that I can show that to our recruits and what we're investing in and how this money's going to come full circle and actually go into your pocket. So I think that's really important, frankly.
I completely agree. Yeah, I think they have a real hunger to win. It's also a place that's really hard to get to, so you have to have a competitive product on the field. People are not going to drive, 4.5 hours from Tampa or 2.5 hours from Jacksonville. It's sometimes it's 4 hours of traffic from Orlando. Like Miami, forget it. Like it's not a stadium to which you can day trip effectively.
Yeah.
And like I wrote the study actually that the boosters used when they resized the stadium, and it was kind of shocking. They actually have a smaller population within like reasonable day trip distance than Nebraska, right? Like of all the people that have like a 70,000 plus seat stadium. Yeah, exactly. Because nobody actually lives in the Gulf of Mexico or Gulf of America, right? like it's just hard to drive to. So like, if you're going to ask people to buy season tickets and come up 7 times a year, you need to have a really competitive product on the field.
It's an interesting point. Like you take that old Snellenberger reference, like we're going to draw a circle 100 miles around our campus. Like you better have a good boat if you're going to be out there looking. Bud Elliott joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline. This is a sharp left turn, but I'm just interested in your thoughts on this. Where are you on James Franklin next? Because I have heard his name mentioned with a couple of jobs, and I'm trying not to use the word fit with coaching hires and jobs anymore because I think we've seen some great fits just not work, so I don't know if that actually works. But there are guys that are better suited to be certain places that have the understanding. I think he wants to coach. At least my understanding is he wants to get right back in it. Where would he work, and who should seriously be considering him for one of these openings that's already there or is coming available?
So I think Virginia Tech makes a lot of sense if they can get over the fact that they just had kind of a Penn State feel in some ways with Brent Pry, who was Franklin's DC, at Penn State before he came over to the Hokies. Or, if Shane Beamer takes Va Tech, if he wants to get out of South Carolina and restart the clock, which I don't really think he has to because they gave him that extension in the offseason when I don't really think anybody was actually coming after him. But again, agents are good. So like, what if Beamer leaves South Carolina? Like I could see Franklin making some noise there in Columbia. Like I think that would actually be an interesting fit. If you're Florida, I think he would do a good job. But at the same time, like, are you hyped to hire a guy who a program that I think you think is beneath you just fired? Probably not. I don't know if that's a great sell to the boosters.
I think that'd probably be a fair point. All right, so you mentioned Florida a few moments ago. I kind of want to go back there. Let's hypothetically say Lane gets more money, decides to stay, gets convinced again. Who are the next realistic candidates that would take it, would leave, that Florida would be satisfied to go get?
I would tell Drinkwitz. The guy, he seems to enjoy recruiting, which you have to do at UF. It's basically what got Mullen ran out of town because they just didn't put effort into recruiting. He has shown that he can replace, staff members and replace them adequately, which is oftentimes kind of the downfall of the coach. And he's done it. And they lost their DC to LSU. Not much of a drop off there in Columbia, right? Like seems to be able to hire pretty competent people. He's got a little spurrier to him in terms of just liking to kind of take digs at folks, and he does score points. And I think at Florida, like the last two times that they've really been unsatisfied with the coach, Muschamp just didn't score any points, and Napier I think is probably pretty damn good at recruiting and program organizationally, but like the offense is nothing to write home about. I don't think personally, and the results were never there scoring points. So I think you got to score points in Gainesville. I would look at Eli.
It just seems odd because the reason I asked the question is I wonder if the fans would be excited about it. I don't know if they would or not. I think he's a great coach, and I love his offensive scheme, and I agree with you on the staff and how he handles it and has handled it. But I just wonder if Florida fans are going to be like, yes, let's go, or if it's going to be like the last 2 or 3 hires where they've just kind of said, nah, this isn't it.
Does Jed Fish get them going? I'm trying to think like who else out there is really somebody you could pull. Like, I mean, you probably call Marcus Freeman, but I don't know if he's taking that.
I don't think he can be a defensive guy. I think I'm kind of with you. I think it has to be an offensive guy because that's what the fans want. It's weird, but Okay, like if y'all need to be satisfied with an offensive guy, then that's what we'll get. But
there are some defensive coaches who seem to embrace scoring points. Like, I mean, look, in a couple year span, Saban hired what, Kiffin and Sark. Like, you know, Manny Diaz is a guy I'd point to. Not that he's going to get the Florida job, but like that's a defensive coach who lets an offensive coordinator actually work under him. You know, it doesn't just like he's not like Muschamp was just a DC masquerading as a head coach. You know, repeatedly. I do think there's a difference. Like Freeman, that's a heck of an offensive coordinator hire he's made, and they've scored points.
No, he's got one of the best in the nation right now, OCs, and lets him do his job. So, all right, bud, great stuff, man.
Good stuff, dude.
Appreciate the time. Good catching up.
Hey,
we'll do it
tell
again soon.
Fornelli to stop being so hard on the SEC.
We'll do.
Goodness gracious. Why is he so down on the league?
I think it's the deepest league in the country. I'm trying to tell him. Man.
You are. You even Cannell's coming around, but Fornelli just, I mean, let's dig in on Illinois. I mean, golly. Don't get me wrong. I listen to y'all every week, but I got to get on my guy here.
I do think, I think Ohio State might be above everybody else. Like
I'm fine with that. There's no pushback here. There's no pushback here there.
Like, geez, those guys are different. So.
Good stuff, dude.
Thank you, bud. All right, Bud Elliott joining on the Higginbotham hotline. We see some of your calls coming in. 800-239-9569 if you want to get in. 800-239-WJOX. We'll talk a little more college football in our next segment. We'll recap the NFL in our final segment of this hour. Andy Birchall may be with us at 8. First, Greg, tell our listeners about Bromberg's.
Well, Bromberg's is great, and right now is a wonderful time to go in there. Why? Because it's Quiot Week. It starts tomorrow, October 22nd, in the Mountain Brook store. It's the Quiot Trunk Show, and you can explore an extended collection of dazzling Quiot diamond jewelry, elegant bracelets, rings, perfectly layered necklaces, and for over a century, Quiot has crafted some of the most beautifully cut diamonds in the world, and this is your chance to see them up close. Add a Quiot piece to your Bromberg's wish list, or find the perfect gift wrapped in our silver signature box and treasured for a lifetime. So go check out Quiot in Mountain Brook Village and at the Summit.
All right, when we come back, what names do you think make sense for the Florida job? We'll discuss that and more right after this on Jocks. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. Told you could be a part of the show this segment. Next segment, we'll recap the NFL weekend. James in Georgia wants to chime in on some college football. Welcome in, James.
Hey, guys. Good morning. Thank you for taking my call. Two players on Georgia's team that kind of have been on a milk carton all season. I think, with Colby Young's unfortunate injury, I think we'll see more of Noah Thomas. Been wondering why we haven't seen more of him, but he's, I guess, starting to get more involved and hopefully will have an impact down the stretch. But I have not been able to figure out why on earth Elo Medozi hasn't been playing, unless he's just not as good as we thought that he was. But looking at the pass rush issues, and it's more than just, when the quick passes come. I mean, it's Chambliss having 5 or 6 seconds in the pocket, when they were not having quick passes. And, I don't think it can get much worse. And it doesn't seem like this guy can even get on the field. So I don't know if there's anything that you guys know about Medozi, if he's just not cracked up to what he should be or what, but I'll hang up and listen.
It's a little bit It's a
great question.
It's a great question. It's fantastic. And honestly, it's a bit of an epidemic for Georgia right now because teams are tempoing going into third down. So they're not really able to get their speed rushers on. I bet you if we look at right now, let's look up exactly how many snaps Elo Medozi has played this year. I would be willing to bet that they expected his snap counts to be a whole heck of a lot harder. Whole heck of a lot higher. But they can't get him on the field. And if you want to look at this, I don't know if these are accurate, but this is according to telemetry. He has played 73 snaps this year. He played 7 snaps against Ole Miss. He played 11 at Auburn. Why? Because people are they're not allowing them to substitute their third down packages in. He's not a great player that you want going against the run. And they're aware of where he's at on the field when he's on there.
Yeah, I think it's also how teams run at Georgia. We talked about it in the Auburn game.
Yes.
That you're going to be heavy flow to the perimeter, off tackle, force those edge defenders to play you different ways. It's one of the reasons Georgia won the game is because they adjusted that in particular. And then I think how they adjusted this past week was they went more press man late, so you had more bodies to dedicate to the pass rush, and maybe you didn't rely on individuals. It's been a question mark for me. I mean, I thought the kid was going to be Defensive Player of the Year. That's what I said at media days. So I was obviously way off on that. I think he still has a ton of skill. I think his skill set would be great for what they need right now, based on what I've seen. But I do know there was a part of it in camp that it wasn't coming around fast enough. I think maybe the overall understanding. But there's a see-ball, get-ball nature of him that I think could help them right now. But as you said, when you're trapped in certain personnel groupings and certain guys can't get on the field, it's a tough spot to be in.
Yeah.
But I think you could add some value to that defense. There's no doubt about that. I'll add some value for you guys right here on Jocks. I'll introduce you to our friend and wealth advisor, Tad Hill, your trusted retirement planning partner, the co-host of the Retire with Freedom and Radio TV shows in Birmingham and Huntsville. Also designated by Forbes as the #1 financial securities professional in the state of Alabama multiple years running. Tad, what do you have for us today?
Okay, today is a topic that we've discussed before, but it's a pretty constant issue, and that is market volatility. And definitely the markets have been topsy-turvy for months in a row now. And if you're already retired or you're within 5 years of it, there's a thing called sequence of returns risk. And I can't go through all the math here. I can do that in our course or in a visit. But the bottom line is if you get poor returns early in your retirement, then you are at a much higher risk of running out of money. And our Retire with Freedom process is designed to help you build a plan to insulate you from that. We can help you. I would really encourage you to come to one of our courses or come in for a visit. And the way to do that is to text JOCKS at 205-988-0006. That's 205-988-0006. Text JOCKS, 205-988-0006.
This is a paid placement. Investment advisory services are made available through AE Wealth Management. For more information about Forbes rankings, visit Forbes.com.
All right, welcome in McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. It is 7:53 Tuesday, October 21st. Not going to have a ton of time to spend on the NFL right now. We usually recap the entire weekend. We'll finish it up around 8:20 after Andy Burcham here on the show. So I'll ask Damian this. What's the one thing, if people did not watch the NFL this weekend, that they need to know about it happening or how it happened this week?
The Denver Broncos, they knocked off the New York Giants 33-32. But here's the thing. The Giants were up 19-0 entering the fourth quarter.
The Giants are 2-5.
Again, they were up 19-0 heading into the fourth quarter of the ball game. Also, how about Sean Payton scoring more in the second half? Actually, in one quarter than he did.
I was going to say.
The entire three quarters
Do you get more credit for fourth quarter points than all other quarter points? He must be the certain folks in Lee County thinks he's Vince Lombardi.
Closest thing to him. Closest thing to him. But, yeah, that's absolutely insane.
Anybody who can sign a quarterback off a backpack has got to be the best coach on earth.
Naturally.
But what was
as long as he scores more points in the second half.
What was in the backpack? What was it?
I think a mouth guard and an iPad to watch film.
That's it. It ended up being a first-round pick. But no, it's absolutely insane that the Denver Broncos scored 33 points in one quarter.
How many turnovers did they have in that quarter?
I think 3 or 4.
Wow.
But Bo Nix, 27 of 50, 279 yards, 2 touchdowns. Also added 2 touchdowns on the ground, along with 48 yards on 5 carries. And shout out to J.K. Dobbins for
And then you had the Panthers and Jets combining for 19 points.
Yeah, and the Justin Fields experiment in New York is not going as
Wait, 0-7 isn't getting it done?
It's not.
All right, so let me ask you this question. We'll come back.
First of all, I didn't want to sign Justin Fields. I've never liked Justin Fields. Even in college, I didn't like him.
What did he do to you?
I just don't think he's that good. I think
You don't have to not like him as a person?
No, I like him fine as a person. I'm sure he's a great kid.
I don't
It's
like
not about that. I just think that everything with
Kick your
him,
cat or something?
everything with him happens too slow. Everything, and it has since he was a freshman.
What about running the 40?
He runs the 40 fine, but guess what?
Said everything.
It's fast.
Pointed out.
It's not about that. Everything, the decisions to run need to happen faster. The decisions to throw and to everything's just too deliberate.
Well, now you got Tyrod Taylor.
Tyrod rips.
Yeah, he's been in the league for a while.
He's about that life. Watch, Tyrod will win this week.
Well, they just need one.
It only takes one.
It only takes one. And Tennessee Titans.
They are at your Bengals. This is the McElroy Bowl this week.
This is a rivalry.
Jets, Bengals. Taylor versus Flacco.
I'm honorary captain. I'm going back.
I will ask you this question.
Oh boy.
I'll ask everybody, but Damian and John probably the only ones right now suited to answer it on the show. Are you in agreement with some folks that say the Colts are the best team on earth?
Probably the best team ever.
They're the best.
I just like when people take the best NFL team and they have to say they're the best team on earth. Like, we get it. It's the highest level of football.
They're playing
I'll
well.
take
Certain
Ohio
folks,
State.
but certain folks will think Ohio State could get them.
You sing Bama?
Andy Burcham joins the show next.